Tonight, tragedy on the Potomac River. 67 people lost their lives when a Black Hawk helicopter collided with that American Airlines flight with a Charlotte-based crew.
In just the past 90 minutes, we learned that dive teams have stopped the recovery operations along the Potomac for now. Sources telling ABC News they've recovered all of the bodies that they can so far without moving the fuselage. Tonight, the Associated Press is reporting FAA staffing was, quote, not normal in the air traffic control tower at the time of this collision. It comes as the NTSB says it has not recovered any black boxes or flight data recorders yet. They say it's still too early to tell if this was caused by human error or mechanical error.
Tonight we have live team coverage from Washington to Charlotte on this tragedy, from the active recovery scene to all the local connections to the tragedy.
First, we want to begin with the Charlotte flight crew, Ian Epstein, Denasia Elder, Sam Lilly, and their pilot, whose name has not yet been released. We're learning about their lives and the loved ones who lost them. Channel 9's Joe Bruno spoke to some of the families, and he's joining us live. Joe.
Well, Ian Epstein was good at every single thing that he did. Before he was a beloved flight attendant, he actually sold campers in Concord. And tonight, his former co-workers are remembering him as a man who was larger than life. Ian Epstein shared this photo on Instagram last month with a caption saying he has literally the best life in the world and that he is so lucky. That's how his former co-workers remember him, full of life.
Just a big jokester, just a happy-go-lucky guy.
And he was gifted. Jennifer Cagle worked with Ian at Camping World in Concord before he became a flight attendant. During his 3 years with Camping World, he became one of the company's top regional salesmen.
He was really very talented in getting people what they wanted, just making them feel at ease, comfortable, like they were a part of his family.
That's why she wasn't surprised at his decision to become a flight attendant. Technician David Davis says Ian was an adventurer who would go above and beyond for anyone he met.
He just always go the extra mile, to really just help them out. And
the news of Ian's passing is as shocking as it is devastating. His former coworkers are keeping his family in their hearts.
When I saw that on Facebook, that was hard to read. Just knowing how happy of a person he was, that, his family, his kids, his granddaughter is going to miss out on a really good man.
Yeah, definitely prayers out to them and everybody else.
His family says Ian was a father, a stepfather, a husband, and a brother. They say they appreciate the outpouring of support and love they have received. Erica.
All right, you can tell that he was such an amazing man. And Joe, you also talked to the family of the other flight attendant on board, Denasia Elder.
Yeah, I had the privilege of speaking to the brother-in-law of Denasia Elder. She's also from Charlotte. She was Ian's flight attendant partner on that flight last night. Her brother-in-law tells me that Denasia loved God, her family, and travel. She leaves behind 2 children, Caden and Dallas. Will share her story on Eyewitness News at 6. We're live at the airport. Joe Bruno, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Joe. And finally, this is a photo of Sam Lilly. He was the first officer on board the flight. His father posted on Facebook that Sam was engaged and he was scheduled to be married in the fall. We're also working to confirm the identity of the 4th crew member, the pilot. We will tell you about them as soon as we learn more.
Let's take a live look now at the Potomac River and the recovery operations, where we're told that they have suspended some of that recovery for now. But this map also shows how close that flight was to landing at Reagan Airport. Channel 9's Glenn Counts just arrived near that scene and continues our live team coverage. Glenn?
Well, Scott, we are across the street from Reagan National. As you can see here behind me, this is one of the staging areas for those recovery crews who have been at work all day looking for the victims and also trying to recover parts of the wreckage. Now, Reagan National reopened to air traffic this morning as those recovery efforts continued and as the investigation started. Now, we're learning that the American flight from Wichita, Kansas was cleared for landing after a last-minute routine runway change A Black Hawk helicopter was on its usual path for standard training when it collided with the plane. We are not showing video of the collision out of respect for the victims, some of whom are from the Charlotte area. Of course, one of the major questions is, why didn't that helicopter change course?
As part of any investigation, we look at the human, the machine, and the environment. So we will look at all the humans that were involved in this accident. Again, we will look at the aircraft, we will look at the helicopter, we will look at the environment in which they were operating in.
Now, a key piece of evidence in this case is the black box. Of course, the black box from the passenger jet and also the one from the Black Hawk helicopter. At this point in time, they have not been recovered, but NTSB officials have every confidence that they will be. Reporting live from the Washington, D.C. area, Glenn Counts, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Glenn, thank you. And we have learned that the victims' families are going to be flown to D.C. as they continue to try to get answers for themselves. And as we've reported, we know that a Charlotte mother was one of the passengers on the plane.
Now, according to a GoFundMe that was set up, Wendy Schaefer leaves behind a husband and 2 little boys. Channel 9's Hunter Signs continuing our live team coverage. Here in the studio, Hunter, Wendy's friends are remembering her today.
Scott and Erica, such heartbreaking reporting to bring everyone here tonight. Wendy Schaefer was a young mother who lived in Charlotte's Oakhurst community with her husband and 2 young boys. Tonight, her friends are rallying around her family, stunned by all of this as they remember a radiant soul. Tonight, a tragedy in the nation's capital, devastating a family in Charlotte. According to a GoFundMe page set up by friends, Wendy Schaefer was a passenger on American Airlines Flight 5342 when a Black Hawk helicopter collided with it over the Potomac River late Wednesday night. According to friends, the 36-year-old mother was a radiant soul, a devoted wife, and an incredible mother to her 2 beautiful boys, ages 3 and 1. They say Wendy was the heart of her family, a loving partner to her husband, and a nurturing, joyful mother to her children. It's unclear why she was flying from Kansas to D.C., but her trip came to a heartbreaking end, one of 67 people killed in the crash. Her friends say her boys were her pride and joy, and she dedicated her life to creating a warm, loving home with laughter and care. Tonight, Wendy's friends are doing all they can to support her loved ones left behind, saying the road ahead will be challenging for her husband as he navigates life without his soulmate and raises their 2 young children. Friends of the Schaefer family say all of the money raised will help with funeral costs, child care, education, and day-to-day needs of the family as they adjust to a life without her. Tonight, Wendy's family put out a statement requesting privacy, as you can only imagine, saying they are devastated. We have a link to that GoFundMe page on our website at WSOC-TV.com. Live in studio tonight, Hunter Signs, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Hunter, thank you for that. And several of the people on board were traveling from the 2025 U.S. Figure Skating Championships there in Kansas. Some local skaters were at that same event and they returned home safely and then heard about the crash. We'll tell you how they're honoring their fellow skaters coming up at 5:30.